Hi, I'm Wilson, and in today's Inkscape tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create this graphic right here. Now, let's go ahead and start with a new document. And what we're going to do is set up the document page. So go to File, Document Properties, which is Control-Shift-D, and we're going to set it to Landscape. Then what we want to do is make sure that Units right here is set to Pixels. And then once pixels has been selected, what we're going to go ahead and do is set it to 1920 by 1080 pixels. That way when you put it on a TV screen or on your laptop screen, it'll look nice and clean. And what we're also going to do is for background color, we're going to go ahead and do is make that into the solid white. So that way when you put it on screen, you don't see a transparent background or a checkered background or a blank background. So I'm going to go ahead and set it to white. Okay, then now after that is set up, also if you want to do display units, I like to set it to inches. That's just me personally. And go ahead and close out the properties box. I'm going to close out these windows too, and let's get started. Before I begin, I want to make sure to let you know that you want to make sure that the measurements here is set to pixels. And also make sure that your guides, your snapping to guides, it's set up the same way as it is up here on the screen. Alright, so the first tool we want to have set up is the AlignDistribute Tool, which is right here. And in order for you to activate it, as it says on the screen, is Control-Shift-A. Control-Shift-A. And then what we're going to do is set it to page. Once that's set up, we're going to go ahead and go to our Bezier tool, which is B as in Bezier. You can click this icon. And then go ahead and with your keyboard use Control and Shift. Once Control and Shift are pressed down together on the keyboard, go ahead and make your first click. Scroll down. Just move your mouse down. Don't scroll down. Just move your mouse down to a nice straight line and then click again. Once you click again and you notice that the line is green, go ahead and hit the Enter key. And you just made a line. Now notice how the line looks like this. It's because it's ready to be selected, whether it's with the Edit Nodes tool or the Select and Transform Objects tool. What we're going to go ahead and do is go to Select an Objects tool, just the regular mouse cursor tool, and go ahead and click on Center Vertical and Center Horizontal. Just click these two and it'll be right here. Go ahead to the height, which is right here. It's marked with H, and make sure it's set to pixels. And because this is a 1920 by 1080 document, let's go ahead and make this 1080 pixels. And again, we're going to align it again and make sure it looks like this. It might be hard for you to see, but there's a reason why I left the line as thin as it is, because what I'm going to go ahead and do in order to make the graphic with the triangles, I need guides, and snapping to guides really helps to create that symmetric image. Okay, but anyways, guides are important for this document. Let's go ahead and leave that alone. And going back to the Bezier tool, I'm going to go ahead and click that. Again, using Control and Shift. This time we're going to make the lines go from here to here. Make another click. Once the line is green, just hit Enter. And there you go. Using the Selection tool here, what we're going to go ahead and do is switch the relative to in the AlignDistribute. Switch that to Last Selected. Now, while this line is selected, the last thing you want to select is the long vertical line. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and align it to left of edges. Afterwards, we're going to click Align to Top Edges. And there we go. Go ahead and select that particular line. And what we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in just a little bit. What I'm going to go ahead and do is go to Edit, Clone, and Create Clone. But the thing is this, I don't want to keep going to Edit, Clone, and Create Clone all the time because I'm going to make multiple lines. So what's going to happen is I'm going to use the command Alt-D, and it says it right there on the screen, Alt-D. So I'm going to go ahead and just click it. Okay, you're probably wondering, Wilson, you clicked it, nothing happened. Well, that's where you're wrong. The next important tool you're going to learn is the transform tool. And in order to get to the transform tool, use Control, Shift, and M. Again, it's Control, Shift, and M. Make sure you're in the move. And make sure it's set to pixels right there. Also, under vertical, set it to 120. And make sure relative move and apply to each object separately is selected. And then click apply. Okay, now that is the clone of the line, and the original is right there. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is make 8 copies of this same line. So here's a little time lapse for you of making 8 lines. Okay then, so we have a total of 8 clones and 1 original line, so that's 9 lines, and each of them are spaced equally 120 pixels apart. So what I did was clone, then click apply, clone, and click apply right there, so that way each of them are moving 120 pixels down. What I'm going to go ahead and do is hit Control A. Control A, and what that does is it selects all the lines that I just produced. And what I'm going to do now is to create the guidelines necessary. In order for me to do that, I just have everything selected and hit Shift and G as in Gary. So Shift and G, and there we go. We have guidelines now. Now, I do not know why these particular lines are here, but what I'm going to go ahead and do is click on it and click Delete. And that should be gone. Well, that just happened, but I'm not going to let that bother me at all. What I'm going to go ahead and do is just hit the lock. It's important that they're locked. The reason being is because if I accidentally move them, it'll screw up the image. Now then, click on the rectangle tool here. Go ahead and just make yourself a perfect rectangle. In order for you to make a good rectangle, you just hold down the Shift and Control key and just move your cursor. So let me just show you. I'm holding the Shift and Control key. I'm clicking, and then I click hold expand and let go, and there you go. You got a square. And you're probably wondering, why are you making a triangle out of a square? It's the easiest way to do it, in my opinion. And when I use the polygon tool, it can be a little bit annoying. But anyways, go ahead to the Bezier tool. Once I'm in the Bezier tool, what we're going to have to do is make sure we start here and look at how it says, snapping to middle corner. Click, expand, snap. It's snapping automatically, and then I'm going to go ahead and click again. Once the line is green, I just hit enter. And there we have it. I'm going to go ahead and click on both the shapes here. They're both selected right now. I'm going to go to path and division. You're probably wondering what happened. You just hit path and division. This is what happened. I successfully made 2 triangles out of 1 square. I'm going to go ahead and take that off because I just need 1. And what I'm going to do is, using the bracket keys on your keyboard, I'm just going to use a bracket key and turn it like that. And then we're going to go ahead to the Align and Distribute tool. Again, it's Control Shift A. And I'm going to set it to page and then center and then down below. Now then, what I'm going to go ahead and do is click the top portion of this triangle right here and drag it all the way up right there. It's important that the tip of the triangle is all the way up there and in the center line. Don't worry about this one. I don't know what's going on there. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and leave it that shade of blue. Then remember previously I told you the clone command, it's Control D. And again, I'm going to switch the color, give it a darker color right there. I'm going to shrink this down below. I'm going to repeat the process. So Control D, and then go ahead to change the color. shrink down below until it snaps to the other line. Again, Control D, change the color, lower it, and snaps down below. The reason why I do it this way is because if you did it from bottom to top instead of top to bottom, you're constantly going to have to use this command here to lower selection to bottom end, and that gets frustrating. So instead, do it from top to bottom, and it saves you a lot of steps in the long run. So go ahead and shrink. Oh, forgot to clone that one. I'm going to go ahead and time lapse this for you. Okay then, well, if you notice here, this design is looking very good. You can leave it like this if you want. It looks like the front of a boat or a really cool looking shark fin of some kind. But if you want to expand it like in the picture I showed you earlier, what we're going to go ahead and do is hit Control A to select all the shapes and then Control G. And then what we're going to do is, so we don't interact with this particular set of lines and grooves, what I'm going to go ahead and do is go to View and then click Guides. What this is going to do is just hide the guides. And if you want to put the guides back up, all you got to do is click View and then Guides again. So View, take out the guides, and there we go. So once all of these shapes here are selected, I'm going to hold down the Shift key. I'm going to take the cursor and click on this area, and holding down Shift and clicking, I'm just going to move it like this, and there you have it. A nice shape for your logo, for your desktop computer, or for projection, and you know, just enjoy it. Look at that. Thank you for watching, and please hit subscribe, like, and leave a comment down below of any questions you may have. And thank you, and have a technological day. Links to my website is down in the description, as well as other videos I've uploaded. And hey, if you want to support my channel, links in the description as well. Thank you.